All right. The quadratic formula. X squared plus 16x plus 4 equals 0. Can we solve this one using the sea monster method where we got a 0? We already have a 0. Huh? And then what do we next? We get a 0 and then we factor. Does that thing factor?
No.
What numbers multiply to be 4 and add to be 16? Remember, you got to multiply the number in the end, add the middle. What times what multiplies to be 4? Well, 4 and 1 or 2 and 2. They certainly don't add to be 16, not even close. So no. Again, the sea monster method, we're beyond it now. I mean, every now and then it'll still work on super easy ones, but in general, it's not a reliable method. It just isn't big enough and durable enough. So what do we do then? Well, we could do the thing we just did. We could do that again. And feel free to do that if you want to. You can move the 4 over and find the magic number and all that kind of stuff. But some of them are going to be really hard to do that on. Instead, I'm going to give you a new method, yet another method, that'll solve any x squared equation. This is the last one, the final one. It's the quadratic formula. It is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The quadratic formula. Learned that in 7th grade?
It was by Pop the Weasel. We had to sing.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of different. You go on YouTube, there's a million different songs put to the quadratic formula. Yeah.
That was before or after my time.
All right. Aren't you my time? I graduated 85.
92.
Okay, a little bit maybe. All right. So here we go. Let's identify A, B, and C. Because what is this A, B, and C thing? Well, I bet you can guess. The A is the number in front of x squared, which is just 1. The B is the number in the middle. It's just the numbers. It's not that letters, not the x's. And C is the 4. So the A, B, and C are the first, second, third numbers. Not the x's, not the x squared, not the regular x. Just peel off the numbers in front of the x's. So the A, B, and C are the 1, 16, and 4. This is pretty easy to use. It really is. Most people like this. It's easier than what we just did. All the magic number stuff. Completing the square. So, all right. So then you just stick everything into the formula. And it just magically works out. So here we go. Now notice the formula has a lot of like negative signs and has a couple numbers already there, like 4 and 2, you know. So that's all going to be in addition to anything plugged in next to that, those signs and stuff, right? So negative already there is part of the formula. You with me? Negative's already there. So negative, and what is B? 16. Put in a 16. Put in a 16. Plus or minus the square root of 16 squared minus 4 times A times C times 1 times 4 all over. Notice that bar goes all the way.
Oh.
Common mistake is to think the bar's only under the root part. It's not. It's under both. That bar goes all the way. Everybody's under that, over that bar. That makes sense? And then like my old physics teacher used to say, just turn the crank. Just crank it out now. Just work out the numbers. Negative 16 plus or minus 16 squared, what is that, 256? Yeah. Minus 16 all over 2. I just did 4 times 1 times 4, 16. Which is minus 16. Plus or minus the square root of something. 240, thank you. All over 2. We good to there? Now we got to, unfortunately, simplify that big root. It'll be a lot of work. But everybody good to that point? Normally they're not quite this messy. So 240, yeah, I got to deal with that 240, and it's not easy. So 240, break it down. I go 24 times 10 right away. 24 times 10. And 24 is what? 4 times 6, and 10 is 2 times 5, and
4 root 15.
6 is 2, 2, and 2, 3. Bring down the 2, bring down, look at all that mess. Is that okay? I broke the 240 all down. You tracking with me? 24 times 10, 4 times 6, 2, 2, 2, 3. Bring down the 2, bring down the 5. So there's all the guts, the innards of a 240. So 2 2s and 2 2s. 4 root 15. Does everybody see that? Everybody okay with that? It's a messy one. So we're getting minus 16 plus or minus 4 root 15 over 2. Does everybody see why it's 4 root 15? Because these guys send out a 2, these guys send out a 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And there's 3 times 5, 15 left inside. And we're still not done. There's one more step. So they're not usually this bad. Last thing is, remember the plus minus, that's like a double Costco glue. So these are glued up there.
But 2 can go
So I can't just go like 2 into 16 or just 2 into 4, but I can do both. If you buy the whole package, that's okay. Remember, if all 3 of these are all 3 divisible by the same thing, you can do it. In fact, you must do it. Right? If this was like a 5 or something, then I wouldn't do anything, right? It's both, it's all 3 or nothing. It's all 3 or nothing because of the Costco glue. So 2, divide them all by 2. Leaves a minus 8, leaves a 2, leaves a 1. I divide, so what do we got? Minus 8 plus or minus 2 root 15 over 1, but we don't show over 1. We're done. Minus 8 plus or minus 2 root 15. Yeah.
When do we get into like separating and then solving 16 plus square root of, or, you know what I mean? Like
We don't have to separate them.
Okay.
I mean, you could separate them.
Do you know what I mean though? Like you would solve one side, negative 8 plus 2 root 15. And
Okay.
then you would do negative 8 minus 2 root 15. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to
That's
think
a
when
thing
you.
that I used to do. I'm just asking.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we have to do it here because they do. I believe they do want decimal answers also. Let's go see. Any questions on all that mess? Is that okay? Let's try one of these. So let's try one. We're not going to get through this section, but let's try a couple of them. So x squared minus x plus 9 is 0. So let me write down the quad for you. Again, it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
So, if we have a negative in the b, it's going to be a negative times the negative?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So we good there. So the a is 1 again. What's the b?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. And c is 9. So a, b, and c are the numbers in front of the x squared and the x and at the back. Just peel them off. And the b is negative 1, yeah. So when you plug in the negative 1 for b into the quad, it's already got an extra minus sign right in the formula. So 2 negatives are going to be positive, right? The negative from the formula will hit the negative on the b, and it'll be positive 1 in the front. Good, plug everything in there. So work that out. So what does that become? Positive 1 plus or minus square root of 1 minus 36 all over 2, which is 1 plus or minus the square root of minus 35, isn't it? We're not out of room here. What do we do with a negative in a root? It comes just right to the front of the root. Don't let it go anywhere else. Just right to the front, and there's an I. And that's it. Oop. Oop, making it too big. There it is. We're done. Right there.
You wouldn't pull apart 35?
Oh, good question. Good question. Yeah, you could try, but if you do the 35, it's 5 times 7, and there's not 2 of anything. Yeah, so it just turns out 35 doesn't make 2 of anything, so, nothing can come out. You got to have matching 2 of something to send anything out. So that's it right there. Is that good on that? Y'all see that? That one was a lot easier than the last one, huh? It's all about whether the square root's a big pain. Let's do one more and we'll end there. Good with that one? Everybody happy with that one? Do they want? Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. I'm just going to make that an X. Doesn't matter what letter. Okay, now on this one, you have to get a 0 on the right side first. So for using the quad, first get it equal to 0. Now we did not do that in the last section, did we? In the last section, we actually moved stuff over right away and had a blank for the magic number. But when you're doing the quad, what we're doing in this section, the ABC thing, you got to get a 0. So jump this one over. Like that. And then do the quad. So negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Definitely going to have that in your 3x5 card, right? Mm-hmm. You want to memorize it with the Pop Goes the Weasel tune off YouTube.
No thanks.
We had to do that, and then we just sing it like for extra credits.
Okay.
Don't you love Common Core?
That's right. Yeah, it's on YouTube. You want to type into YouTube. They have it to all kinds of different songs. Watch the signs. C will be -1. So that'll make something turn to positive. So A is 1, B is 3, C is -1. So negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared. Let me change the color here. -3 plus or minus root 13 over 2. Did y'all see how it became +4 in there?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, all you got to do, we'll do a bunch more of this Wednesday, is with the signs, just 2 negatives, positive, right? 2 negatives is positive, +4, 13. And there's the answer. Just like that. We good with that? Questions on that? So how far did we get? So what's due then on Wednesday? Let me stop there.